this land we call Fiji, to let all races live in peace and harmony, to build a future for our children, a future safe and sure, one that will endure forevermore. So let us all work together, Fiji. Let us unite to build a nation of one great family. Together, hand in hand, we can prosper in this land. Several races, one nation, one destiny. Several races, one nation, and free.
Ladies and gentlemen, youth and children of Fiji, greetings to you all. Nisa Mbula Vinaka, Namaste. Today, we commemorate the 41st anniversary of our independence. When the first Prime Minister of Fiji, Ratu Sekamasesa, received the constitutional instruments of independence on 10th October 1970, he made a short acceptance speech. This simple sentence from that speech is worthy of note. Quote, "We consider and accept our destiny, not just for ourselves, but also for each other," unquote. Those simple words are as poignant today as they were 41 years ago. The theme for this year's anniversary, celebrating Fiji, one nation, one destiny, is a fitting reminder of the commitment that we, the people of Fiji, have made to each other through the People's Charter for Change, Peace, and Progress, to change our attitudes, our thinking, the way we live, and the way we are governed, in order to establish a solid foundation for our country as one nation and one people. Our celebration of Fiji Day is a testimony of our determination to remember our past experiences, to celebrate our present achievements, and to look hopefully and positively to the future. Nothing must deter us from the path to change, peace, progress, and prosperity. We now better understand the things that make us stronger as a nation. On that note, I wish to commend the significant developments of the last 4.5 years to you as signs of greater things to come for the future of our country. Government alone cannot resolve all our challenges. We must all contribute. All of us must actively engage with government and with each other in a partnership. Government has kept its promise to build consensus on the People's Charter for Change, Peace, and Progress. Government has been mandated to carry out and continue with the reforms that began in 2007 and is spelled out clearly in the Roadmap for Democracy and Sustainable Socio-Economic Development for 2012 to 2014. The mandate also required that government must ensure that true democratic, non-communal, equal suffrage-based elections for parliamentary representation is held by September 2014. As the government has been mandated to take the country forward until September 2014, it is evident that there is a very clear statement of government's intentions identifying key milestones to be achieved, and ensuring continuity of our collective vision as formulated in the People's Charter for Change, Peace and Progress, and more recently in the Roadmap for Democracy and Sustainable Socio-Economic Development for 2012 to 2014. The Strategic Framework for Change is a document outlining government's major intentions. It sets out the broad policy directions and changes to the system of government, the development of Fiji's economy, and the changes in our social and cultural fabric as citizens of this nation. The overall objective of the government vision for the future of Fiji is contained in the broad outlines of the Strategic Framework for Change, and in the People's Charter remain true, and are the same as that which had been stated earlier in 2007 and again in 2008. Since 2009, a number of measures, including reforms, have been implemented to give reality to the visionary and progressive ideals of the People's Charter for Change, Peace and Progress, and of the more practical orientation of the roadmap for election for parliamentary representation and sustainable socio-economic development for 2012 to 2014. This period will offer opportunities to many of our people to contribute to and be part of those changes. Government has a vision to make Fiji realize its true potential through building a strong nation state, by empowering all our citizens, by addressing decades of neglected infrastructure, by providing actual adherence to the principles of the rules of law, by putting in place sustainable institutions and laws that will create accountability, transparency, justice, fair play, and modernity, by improving living standards and alleviating poverty, by putting in place a liberalized and level playing field economy. This period shall be followed by the formulation of a modern-day constitution, and then the holding of elections for parliamentary representation by September 2014. I would now like to highlight some of the achievements. Last week, two important events were celebrated on the UN calendar worldwide. The first, the UN's International Day of Nonviolence. This is the global observance that promotes nonviolence through education and public awareness. It is annually held on October the 2nd to coincide with the birthday of the renowned Indian leader Mahatma Gandhi. The UN recognizes the philosophical connection between the human rights principles in its Universal Declaration and those that Mahatma Gandhi used. Gandhi taught the people of India and the rest of the world the philosophy of ahimsa, which encourages the use of nonviolence as a tool for peaceful resolution of differences. The People's Charter for Change, Peace and Progress espouses as one of its key steps in moving our nation forward the need for leaders in all our communities, in all the key institutions, including those of the government, of the traditional, the religious, and the youth organizations, of the civil society, of those in the private sector, to change, to commit to working together, to seek and to create broad-based consensus for just and fair solutions to our many problems. Furthermore, our leaders must lead by example and take responsibility for their words and actions. Secondly, throughout the world, in UN member states, World Teachers' Day is celebrated annually on October the 5th. The World Teachers' Day is held to celebrate and heighten the importance, the fundamental roles, and the special status of teachers as agents of change in providing quality education at all levels. The whole week had been dedicated to celebrating the importance of education and the critical role of teachers in guiding children, youths, and adults through the lifelong learning process. This year, World Teachers' Day focused on the theme, quote, "Teachers for Gender Equality," unquote. It is critical during these times, these difficult times, to seek mechanisms that protect the teaching profession. It is also crucial, despite the challenging financial times that we face, to ensure that investment in teachers is sufficient and proportionate to the demands made upon them. It is the teaching fraternity, with its knowledge, experience, and foresight, which can bring new heights to global solutions. Sustained investment is required to develop a well-trained and motivated teaching fraternity. In our rapidly changing and interdependent world, teachers not only have to ensure that students acquire solid skills in basic subjects, but also that they become responsible local and global citizens, at ease with the new technologies and able to make informed decisions about health, the environment, and the challenging theme of gender equality. Teachers play an important role in providing quality education at all levels and in preparing our children and youths to build a new society as envisaged in the People's Charter for Change, Peace, and Progress. As far as education is concerned, the People's Charter clearly articulates our collective vision. We aspire for Fiji to be an educated, knowledge-based society where all our people have access to education and continuous learning. The reform of Fiji's laws to bring them in line with the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women and the Convention on the Rights of the Child have brought about welcome change. We are now experiencing increasing participation by women in decision-making bodies, thereby empowering urban and rural women, increasing the enrollment of women and girls in tertiary education, adopting positive gender mainstreaming within the government system, and increasing the welfare assistance provisions to the marginalized, including single mothers. Furthermore, the domestic violence decree, which came into effect last year, is now being effectively implemented by the law enforcement agencies in conjunction with the civil society groups. Its regime of restraining orders is intended to deter perpetrators of family violence from inflicting further violence whilst allowing families to remain together in peace. This decree recognizes the difficulty experienced by women and children in gaining access to the justice systems because of family, community, cultural, and attitudinal barriers. A landmark in the Fiji response to HIV and AIDS took place in February this year in the passing of the HIV/AIDS decree. This, together with the amendment passed in August, was a positive step towards dealing effectively with the prevention, care, and treatment of HIV/AIDS. The decree is consistent with the international human rights standards and, in particular, the international guidelines and the UN Declaration of Commitment. Properly implemented, it will help health workers and civil society to take an intelligent approach to HIV prevention and care. It will also help the country to take heed of the problems of discrimination and stigmatization, which have so far impeded such an approach. The amendments to the decree that were made in August were principally aimed at addressing these problems. The setting up of the HIV/AIDS Board and continuous training are critical to ensure the effective implementation of the decree. The decree provides an enabling environment for the changes in social and professional attitudes. It is a significant and enlightened step towards an effective human rights-based approach to the prevention and care of those who live with HIV or are affected by HIV in the country. The HIV/AIDS decree has been acknowledged as one of the most enlightened and progressive HIV laws in the world. In addition to the HIV/AIDS decree, this year the country passed the Mental Health Decree, a decree based on the World Health Organization guidelines on best practice for mental patients, and the Child Welfare Decree, which creates a system that requires mandatory reporting of child abuse by doctors, police officers, and lawyers to the Department of Social Welfare. In line with the spirit of the People's Charter of Change, Peace, and Progress, government is committed to the task of enhancing Fiji's international relations, both bilaterally and multilaterally. This year, the Prime Minister opened our new missions in Indonesia, South Africa, and 2 weeks ago in Brazil. Such expansion of diplomatic relations is essential for our national development and in meeting our international obligations and participation in global affairs. The programs and activities undertaken in the country to observe the International Year of the Youth from August 2010 to August 2011 were aimed at encouraging young people to dedicate themselves to fostering progress, including the attainment of the UN Millennium Development Goals, which seek to slash a host of social ills ranging from extreme poverty and hunger to maternal and infant mortality, to lack of access to education and healthcare, all by 2015. Under the theme, quote, dialogue and mutual understanding, unquote, significant progress was made in dialogue and understanding across generations and promoting the ideals of peace, respect for human rights, and freedom and solidarity. I invite everyone to be part of this new, exciting, and extraordinary journey that we are embarked upon. Come together to build a better Fiji for ourselves, our children, and for every future generation. Today, we are celebrating Fiji, one nation, one destiny. Have an enjoyable and meaningful Fiji Day. Thank you. Vinakavagalevu, Bahut Dainavad.
We want to build this land we call Fiji, to let all races live in peace and harmony, to build a future for our children, a future safe and sure, one that will endure forevermore. So let us all work together, Fiji. Let us unite to build a nation of one great family. Together, hand in hand, we can prosper in this land. Several races, one nation, one destiny. Several races, one nation, and free.